It's being recorded right now. So after the session is over with, I'll upload the video and post the link address directly to you so that you'll have it. You can go back and you'll see the PowerPoint and you'll hear Carolyn. And with that, I'd like to introduce District Secretary Carolyn Hayes. Yay,
Carolyn.
Well, welcome everybody. And I know a lot of you are returning secretaries and you know a lot of all this. As a matter of fact, you may know a lot more about it than I do because I don't have the nitty-gritty stuff to do that you all have to do. So I'll share what I can and we'll stop and you can share what we need to hear from you as well. And so with that, let's get going. Our first screen, I'm just so delighted with what our new incoming district governor, Don Casper, is doing. And I like his logo here. And so we've inserted that. It's always good when we as secretaries kind of follow along and support our district governor. So that's what this is about. So let's get going. And Marilyn is going to advance the slides. If you're the incoming secretary, congratulations. So let's get the screens going, Marilyn.
I'm working on it.
Okay. I wonder if I can do it.
Yeah, I think you'll have to.
But I'm not. Oh, there it comes. Okay, did you do that?
I did. We're good now. I'm catching up with you.
Okay, so let's advance to the next screen. Can you do that? Or am I doing it?
I guess maybe you did it.
Okay. Oh, it works. Okay, so we need to start going through what you're going to be doing. Let's take a look at the next screen. Your most essential things is that you have to maintain your membership records. You do the semi-annual reports, and the rest of it is pretty much common sense. You're going to send out notices, take the meeting minutes, and you work closely with your president and treasurer. But also, it's very important that you work with your current club secretary. And probably most of you have already done that, but you need to get her or his help to get through the process of how to navigate all of the websites and what you need to do to keep your records up to date. If you haven't already, you may want to make sure that all your new club executives have been reported. And you need to show or ask your secretary to show you how to complete the reports online. Make sure everything is current when you take office on July 1. So the major reports that you have are the semi-annual report, which is due July 1 and January 1. And you need to keep the changes in your membership to RI and district always current. And the third thing is that we need to learn to use DACdb online. And this can be tricky, so that we're going to spend a little time on this morning here in the meeting. So what can you do to get ready? Your policy manual for your club and your bylaws. As a matter of fact, you may be the one that has to keep them during your term as secretary. Confer with your president-elect and your outgoing secretary. Attend all the meetings if you're invited and register on DACdb. So let's look at how we need to register. And remember, everybody, that what you see on these screens, I don't expect you to remember. And some of it we won't go over that much, but it's here for you. So when you get stuck, you can go back and take a look at these screens. So if you're doing it for the first time, you need to get into visitrotary.com and click on the member area, which is on the upper right. And then you'll click on the member login. You will use your email address as your login. And then you'll key in your membership number in the password box. Enter your club number if it's asked for, and then click on login to get in. So once you've registered, after that, all you have to do to log in is use www.DACdb.com. Oops, didn't mean to do that. If you're unable to log in successfully, you need to ask your secretary to help you. And then I'll have some suggestions to also help you. I get the calls or emails from people mostly if they've tried to log in too many times and they can't, then they're not allowed to go back and try it again. So let's move on. Here are some of the things that you can do in DACdb. You can maintain all the member records for every member in your club. Maintain the records for the club. You can view all the data in the member and club databases. You add, delete members, any committee in your club. Export all your reports pertaining to the club. You can use the events in the club calendar. You can submit your bulletins, and you can use the P-mail. I don't use it that much, but some people really like it. You can P-mail all your peers, such as the club presidents. So it's up to your club how much of this that you want to use. On my next slide, get over here. Here we go. There are login issues, and I do want to go through these because it just might save you a lot of frustration. I need to get this cleared off, or I can read it. There we go. One of your login problems as a new user is when you attempt to register, you're denied access. So a wise solution for the secretary to automatically register the new members in DACdb when they are completing the new member profile, that you will be appreciated for if you will do it. Assign the new member's email as their username and assign a password. Then send them this information by email so that they can get into it the first time. Then they can change their password to whatever they want. And another problem that I just referred to previously is when a member gets locked out and they cannot access, very often it is because they've gone in too many times and then they're locked out. So if that happens, the secretary or any of the other officers that have a level 4 security or above can access the club member's name, click on the pencil to access their record, and then select the login tab. If the retry count is 3 or more, just reset that number to 0 and click the update. Make sure you click update to confirm their username. Then click email login to user. That way the member can go back in and be able to reset their password to wherever they want. So if you as the secretary are locked out of the account for any reason, ask some other club officer to reset it for you, then you should be able to regain your access. There is an excellent video on login helps in the DACdb Secretary Training module from your profile. That profile is up on the right. Click Edit. Click on the club top of screen. Click on Help. On the left side of the screen, you'll see DACdb Training. Select the Secretary Training, and then select the Login and Password Recovery video. It's only 20 minutes long, so if you get stuck, that'll give you some excellent tips. These are the problems that most everybody calls me about. So I put the screen in yellow so that you can pick it up quickly if you need to go back and refer to it. So we'll move on and then we'll stop for questions in just a couple seconds. So after you've logged in to DACdb, look for your name in the upper right corner and then click, and that opens up your name so that you can look at your own profile. Click on Edit My Profile. A window will pop up with the data about you. And you can check out details and be sure everything is correct. If you need to change anything, you can do it. If you do make any changes in the data, be sure to click Update. That's the yellow box on the top right side of the screen so that the data will be recorded. Don't forget, because if you do, then you have to go back and start all over again. Next slide. So one more thing, while you're still inside DACdb, click on your name again in the upper right corner. What is the number in parenthesis just below your name? It may be a 1 or it may be a 4. If it's a number 1, that just indicates that you're a member. But if it's a number 4, that means you're a club officer. And this is called your security level. As a member with security level 1, you can only change information about yourself. But as a secretary of your club, you will need to have security level 4. And this means you can change the information about your other club members or officer positions in DACdb and the RI Red websites. And this is your new job. So if you're now a level 4, you can access and make the changes to the websites. However, your current secretary officer designation will still need to be changed. So we'll discuss how to do that a little bit later in the presentation. So I recommend that you ask your current secretary and president to appoint you as executive secretary of your club right now. Then once you're approved, your secretary will input your new club position in DACdb. Once you have a level 4 security level assignment in your club, you're able to do all the things that the current secretary can do. And this will be your opportunity to learn how to use DACdb and become familiar with the program. So it's always a good idea to start working with the current secretary. It's fun and you'll be happy once you're familiar with the program. You'll feel confident you can do your job. There are always several ways to skate around in the software and accomplish tasks. And the screens I'm going to show you next are just simple steps that allow you to add and delete members. You can do things my way, your way, or whatever works for you. And your current secretary will probably have her way of doing things. Just one more little screen here and then we'll stop. Help, click on support in the blue banner across the top. Left column, you can select the DACdb training, quick start guide, and help topics. The middle section of the screen, you will see 3 steps: self-help, district help, and DACdb support. To the right, best of all, you'll see the District 533 help and the designated district help resources. You won't remember this stuff today because you have to look at the screen, and maybe this is a good one to print up so that when you try to do it yourself, it'll be quick and easy. But here are some support things you need to have. So you can use the phone number, the email, and here's our dear friend, Richard Lemire. He has helped me many times. He'll help you. He knows it all. He's been doing this for years. So with that, let's stop for a moment. I think Marilyn has some things to add, and maybe there are some questions.
Am I muted? I guess I am.
No, you're not.
Oh, okay. One of the most, first of all, let me see by a show of hands, how many of you are currently secretaries of your club? Okay. Then you probably understand all of this information that Carolyn has provided regarding DACdb. If you're not familiar with DACdb, this is a really good time to start. I have found the process of getting to it by going through the district website to be somewhat confusing. And I don't claim to be a technical expert by any means, but if you need help and you haven't registered on DACdb yet, please either follow these directions or call Carolyn, email her, or Richard. It's not necessarily easy to find what you want. Many people had problems even registering for these sessions because it's a process that I think is a little bit convoluted, but it is what we have. And our district website has a lot of capabilities that some other platforms don't have. So even though DACdb might be a little challenging, take a few minutes to learn it. And particularly if you had problems registering for any of these sessions because you were confused by DACdb, ask questions until you get the answers. That's all I have, Carolyn. Other people, do you have questions? You might want to unmute and ask them, or maybe you have some tips from things that you've experienced that you want to share.
Yeah, Marilyn, if I can chime in just a bit, Bill Chase.
Yes, Bill.
For those of you who are new secretaries, the semi-annual report goes to both the secretary and the treasurer every 6 months. And make sure, as your responsibility as secretary, make sure that your membership roster numbers are up to date. Otherwise, if you mention that you have more members than you actually do, you're going to be charged more, and the treasurer is not going to be real happy. One other note that
Bill, before you move on, what's the semi-annual report?
Semi-annual report actually notifies the secretary and treasurer how many club members you have, and they charge the Rotary International dues accordingly. So the dues that you pay to the district and to Rotary International are paid every 6 months. The semi-annual report is the one that you pay to Rotary International, and that's based on the number of active members that you have.
Thank you.
I'm going to be covering that a little bit more in the PowerPoint too.
Okay, and one more thing, I've had some problems with DACdb that I just couldn't wait for an email response. So I've called DACdb directly, and I've talked with Donna a number of times, and she's very, very, very helpful. So, and she's willing to help anyone who calls. Thank you.
Good points. Thank you.
Other questions? Raise your hand or speak up. Gosh, Carolyn, you're answering all their questions. I love it.
Well, probably,
Marilyn, I have one.
but I'll say that the secretary that currently is doing the job is your best friend. And I found that your president and some of the other officers are not all that into it. So you're gonna need to help them possibly. So the quicker you can learn things and become the expert in your club, the better off it's gonna be for everybody in the club. And the other thing I might suggest, I'm gonna take the treasurer's training this year. And I think that's useful, particularly since the two of you work together. And that semi-annual report, like Bill said, it's a combined effort between the secretary and treasurer. And money is so important to the clubs. And if you get billed for more than what you should have to pay, that doesn't make any of us happy because we work so hard in our clubs to earn our funds to be able to do the projects that we want to do. Everybody agree with that? Okay, let's move on.
Wait, we had one question from Mary.
Okay,
I did. Thank you, Marilyn. Bill, when you made reference to the secretary and the treasurer, I'm assuming the district secretary and treasurer directly?
No, the club secretary and the treasurer both get the digital printout of the SARS report.
Okay, so it's just a report within our club.
Yes, correct.
it is the treasurer's job to get that check written and sent out on time. And as long as you have good record keeping done ahead of time, then the billing will be accurate.
Any other
Anything
questions
else?
before we move on? Okay, let's go, Carolyn.
Okay. Try this one. So we're gonna just go through a few little things that are your jobs. You will want to add new members. That's part of your responsibility. So this screen explains to you how to do that. And always, no matter what you're gonna do in DACdb, you wanna enter it in through your own member name. That's first. Click edit, and then you can make the changes you need to do. So number one, select My Club from the top of the page. When your club record pops up, you'll see all the members in your club. 2, to add a new member, just click on the Add New Member at the top right of the screen. 3, a box will pop up and you'll be able to input all the information you have about your new member. If you do not have everything you need, you can add it later, but you want to get that new member into your records within 30 days of that member joining your club. 4, when you enter the new member data in DACdb, report the date you enter the data as the date the member joined the club. If you don't do this, you may not be able to integrate the data with the RI website. When you're finished, be sure that you add at the top right of the screen. If you don't, you have to do it all over again. 6, you will then integrate this information with the RI website. And it's wise to do this right away so that you will be assured that the data does get integrated. This screen is, to me, is rather important. Once you do this, then you'll see that it's repetitious to do other jobs. So we're going to go through how to integrate because this actually saves you a lot of time. You can do it in DACdb, and I would do it right after I added the new member. So you want to I'll start with that second paragraph. You want to look to the left of the screen and you'll see the blue bar that says My Club Navigation. And below that, you're going to see RI integration. When you're inside that screen, look to the left side location again and click on the blue that says Member Compare. You will see all of the members in your club, and you will see if there are any differences in your new members record when you compare the DACdb record and the RI record. The differences will be in red print. So use the small little red arrows to add information that is missing to the opposite side. The arrows show you which direction you need to make the change. And then always click your update button when you're through integrating. This is one of the reasons why DACdb is useful. And once you have done this, it'll be easy. But this is one that I struggled to find in the beginning. And so it's another screen out of the PowerPoint that might be useful to you. Next slide. If you need to delete a member from your club, go back and click on your name from the member area. And this is just the same process that we talked about before. Go to My Club at the top of the page, click on the members icon, and when your club record pops up, you'll see all the members again. To delete a member, scroll down to find their name. To the left of their name, you're going to see an X. Click the X to delete the member. And when you're done, make sure that you click on the Terminate button off the top right of the screen. And of course, the last step is always integrate this information with RI. You don't want to forget this step, because if you do, you'll get billed for this member on your next semi-annual report, and you don't want to do that. So, all right, moving on. The learning tools for DACdb, I'm not going to go through, but I want you to know that this is available to you, and there are really some good topics. You can see the list over here. I've done 10. And for sure, if you have any problems with login or editing or terminating, this is just stuff that you need. Hopefully, the PowerPoint is going to be enough to help you out.
Carolyn, can I add something to you, or to reiterate a little something, because you've covered it great and all, and I hope everybody has made note of it. But again, just to remember the really important things that Carolyn has just told you. Adding a new member, it doesn't matter what date they actually join the club. When you're entering it, you need to just put the day that you're entering it in as the day you're adding it. And you may be coming back and cleaning up some records from the past, and you're saying, oh, well, this member has never been reported, and that was 6 months ago. If you enter that date, RI will not accept it. So when you enter a new member, again, very important to just use the date that you're entering with. That's not that important of information. And as far as the integration, the nice thing about DACdb is it will automatically feed it right into Rotary International, into RI. And in the integration, you can just check to make sure that was done. And probably 99% of the time that gets done. If a member was previously a member of Rotary that you're bringing in, try to make sure you have their membership number, because then all their records will come over from their previous club, their foundation giving and all, then that comes to your club. So if you bring somebody else in, make sure that you can get that member's number also. But sometimes there are little glitches in there as far as it doesn't go through, or there's a problem with RI. Sometimes you unfortunately may have to go into RI and do it backwards, but Most of the time, it's going to work through DACdb. And if there's any problems that you have, feel free to contact Carolyn or myself or Dan Goodrich, and we can certainly help you out.
Richard, question.
Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about when members transfer from one club to another? There's a procedure in DACdb to move them over. Can you talk a little
Well, actually, the most important thing, you can't do anything until the club that they left has actually terminated them
bit? Right.
from RI, because otherwise you can't do anything with them. But once that has happened, you have their membership number, then you just re-enter them as a new member. And one of the fields, of course, is a previous member of Rotary, yes, and with the number, and it will then integrate properly.
So just because you went over that kind of quickly. So a member can't be a member of two clubs.
No.
So they have to terminate from their first club before we can add them to the new club. And that termination needs to be done by the club they're leaving. The club they're joining can't do anything on that end.
That's correct. Mhm.
Okay.
And this is tricky. I don't like the fact that if members do change clubs, they're considered to be new members to Rotary, and they're not really. So it's not the best, but it's the way it's set up. So, but that was a good question. And also thank you, Richard, because you have been the best to help me and others when we're in trouble. So
Thank you,
remember
thank you.
that.
The only thing that makes me sad is only 18 people in here, and out of 60 clubs, the ones that really need it are the ones that aren't here.
All right, let's move on. These are just some more learning resources for you. And you may or may not want them, but they're on the slide just in case. So we're not going to bother to go through the detail here. We'll move on. So this can be a little bit difficult if we don't know how to do it. Let's go through this slide. This is to add, change, or delete the officers in your club. Your president, the president-elect, or the secretary can add, change, or delete the club officers. And as the new secretary, you need to learn how to do that. If you can help your president with this task, he'll probably really appreciate it. So you log in as you usually do. Click on My Club at the top, then the members icon. Then click the admin function on the left side of the screen. It'll be that blue vertical bar. Then click Edit Club Positions, also in blue on the left side of the screen. Find the name for the position you want to assign. Change or delete as an officer of the club. Click the pencil on the left side of that person's name, and the screen will pop up that shows the positions that that member previously held. And if that member has a current position, it will be highlighted in green. So you can click the edit to change or add new roles to that position that are already defined for a given period of time. Then click Add to add that new position in a different time period. In most situations, that would be in a new organizational year period. And lastly, be sure to save your changes. Integrate those changes with RI, and you're good to go. This is just the same process again and again. Sounds difficult, but it really isn't. Once you get onto it, it doesn't take that much time to accomplish things.
Carolyn, there's another little trick that'll pop up on that screen when you're adding the officer. Sometime it will come in with the current organizational year, and it will have a date from this date to June 30 of 2022. And if you're adding somebody for next year, and you add a position, it will give you the choice of like secretary-elect or membership chair elect or vocational elect. And you can press that because that will then automatically populate it for the next term and will cause a confusion. Otherwise, you have some chance, you'll have to do a little bit more work. But if you do add the elect in the current year, then that saves that problem.
Remember, all of this that we're hearing today is going to be recorded. So if you want to go back and listen to it again, you can do that. And thank you, Richard, because getting it right now while we're reviewing this screen is really helpful. So let's move on. Rotary Club Central, entering your club goals. Entering your club goals, such as the membership, service, and foundation, is the responsibility of the president. However, I like to think that the secretaries are the president's best friend and helper. So if you can help with that and you're asked to do it, be nice if you can refer back to this and know how to do it. So we'll just go through that a little bit. There are 2 YouTube videos that are good to help you with this. The first one is the long version, which is 54 minutes. You may not need that. The second one, the short version, is only 8 minutes, and it's probably adequate. So these are the websites you can go to if you want to go through it. And then also there is a PowerPoint that I have copied from the RI website, which I will send you along with this presentation. I think Marilyn has it already. We'll make sure you get it if you want it. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Those semi-annual reports. I like that little cartoon, don't you? All right, let's take a look. RI sends those report packets out electronically on July 1 and January 1. I think this is wrong. Is it late December now, Richard, or does it come out after the first of the month?
It actually comes out after the first of the year, and sometimes it may not come out until 2 or 3 weeks. But it is sent directly to the president, to the treasurer, to the secretary, and you know, and because they have to compile the records, and that's why it's so important that you have your membership correct by June 30 and by December 31st, because those are the members that are going to show up to be billed for.
I think it's a good idea to get it done even before the 30th, just to make sure that it gets done. All right, number 1, the club membership list per the RI records, which serves as the basis for the estimated billing. That's the first thing in the packet. Second is the invoice for the RI per capita and prorated dues, the Council on Legislation fees, and the magazine subscriptions. Note that 2 Rotarians residing at the same address have the option of subscribing jointly to the official magazine. And the treasurer is responsible for this portion and should recalculate what is owed using the SARS worksheet provided in the packet. All right, more details. Keep your club records up to date. We've already talked about that. This will assure that the per capita billing is accurate. Your club's balance can be paid by
So important.
Did somebody say something? I heard a noise. Okay. So the balance can be paid by credit card, or you can write a check, and clubs with fewer than 10 members have to pay for 10 members. If you do not receive that packet by the end of July, I think this would be even after the end of July or January, right, Richard? Yeah, it can come in later. So give it another 15 days before you get panicked. So if it doesn't come in, you can print a copy from the RI member access or request it by contacting data@rotary.org or your international office. So submitting your dues to the district and to RI guarantees your club membership in good standing. And so again, that's being the good secretary of your club, that you make sure this gets done. So how do we get to this? From your browser, key into rotary.org and click the following steps to get your invoice. And I won't go through this right now because hopefully you won't need to do it. But if you have to, you can. And remember that it's your treasurer's job to get the check sent out to the dues, not yours. Can't do it, as a matter of fact. All right, we'll move on here. Now, there are just a few more little final reminders that we'll go through before we go through any questions again. Just make sure that all your executive officers get reported. And this option is available only to the president, secretary, and executive secretary. So if you can get your access ahead of time as executive secretary, you can get into the practice of doing some of this yourself, and you'll have the current secretary to help you if you need that help. You want to make sure that the current members list reported to RI is accurate on July 1 of this year. When your new president takes office, work with your current secretary now. Don't wait to do this until you take over as secretary on July 1. Now, more reports that you can do online, visiting Rotarians' attendance reports if you're requested to submit those in your club. The Rotarian relocation form sent to Rotary Club in the new community. That is an ongoing. Club information changes, goes to RI and district, and that's an ongoing job. Official directory information just goes to RI and district. So once again, you can go back and review this if you need this to remind yourself. Again, I like to say that the secretaries are the glue that keeps the club together. So you want to be able to make a difference by helping your president and your club meet the governor goals for the year. And for the club service award, every club must have membership information up to date and accurate with RI and district. So you can do this and help your president and your whole club be ready to get the governor's citation. Help your club and your president be a model in the district. Active members attendance credit option. This is not required by the district or RI, but if your club opts to keep the attendance records, here are some hints on how to do the task. So let's read this together. Do include the active club members, members credited with makeups, and members excused by the board. Do not include members whose combined age and years of membership in one or more clubs is 65 or more, and who have received board approval after notifying the club secretary in writing of their desire to be excused from attendance. Do not include current RI officers or visitors. So this is kind of important to know so that you don't get confused about this particular report. Remember that your current club secretary, president, or executive secretary, director will have to give you access rights to change the information at RI as well as the district website. And this will become effective on July 1, unless your club secretary or some other club officer gives you the access now. So try to get it if you can. In the meantime, find a time when you and your current secretary can work together so you can learn what you need to do and how to do it for your club. I suggest that you ask your current secretary to make you executive secretary right now so you can learn to use DACdb all by yourself. You want to make sure your club records are up to date now. Don't wait till January or July 1. And we're almost there, folks. This is just a note to the current secretary. And I'm repeating myself here, but just meet with your successor and start working with her and help her or him learn how to keep all these records that we've talked about in this meeting today. And most importantly, have fun. Rotary is always fun for all of us. This is me. If you need to get a hold of me, it's easy. I'll be happy to help you. And lastly, I gave you a slide. We'll look at that. This is how you can set up your iPhone so that you can access DACdb. And I'm not going to go through this one. You can just look at this slide, follow the steps, and you can do it. I have it on my phone and I like it. It's handy if you're at a club and you need to check on something because you can this way. All right, let's open it up and see who has thoughts or questions they want to add.
Carolyn,
Yes.
on slide number 31, I believe the number instead of 65 should be 85. That was the rule of 85. That's the combined years of age plus number of years in Rotary. The reason I take attendance every Tuesday morning is I will notify the membership chair if I see someone who has not been at a meeting for a month straight or 2 months straight, and that membership chair happens to be the week care chair, and she'll call and remind them that we miss those their faces at these meetings, and that is there any way that they can change your attendance record? Would be greatly appreciated for the club.
Point. Anything else?
Carol, just one other note, if people have any questions about the district dues. District dues, that number is taken from the semi-annual report. So once that has been issued, then our district treasurer prepares a district statement, but you have to pay for the same amount of members that are on the semi-annual report. So the district dues go directly to the treasurer, and once again, same process. Most important thing, pay both of them.
Okay, what else?
Yes, I have a question. The semi-annual report, it just goes to your executive secretary and the treasurer. It doesn't, we don't have to send it to RI.
Yeah, it comes to it'll come to the secretary, but it has to go to RI. It has to be paid, with payment, and that's usually the treasurer that will make that happen.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
I really think it's helpful if the secretaries do take that treasurer training, because it just helps you understand how the two of you can work together.
Other questions? Carolyn, I'm going to stop your screen share unless somebody wants to refer back to the slide. Well, I said I would, but Carolyn, can you stop the screen share?
I don't know if I can or not. Let me see.
Yeah, just go down to share.
Stop. Oh, wait.
There you go.
Let's see if this works. No, that didn't do it.
Okay, never mind.
Up here, I got it.
There you
There it
go.
is. I got it.
That happened. Thank you. Well, you know what? I think the secretary, and I've always thought this, the secretary has not only the most important, but the most detailed of all the duties of all the officers. Attendance, reports, all of those things are so vital to the club. And if any one of those is missed, like you don't put a new member in or you don't delete a member, then there are consequences. RI bills on what they have. And if you don't keep the record straight, then you're going to get billed for something that for some member that you may not any longer have. But Carolyn has given an excellent presentation, very detailed. Richard, your information that you shared with us today is equally important. And even though I've been in Rotary for a long time, there are still a couple of things. Well, I've never been a club secretary, so there's more than a couple of things, but I learned some things about Rotary in general today. So thank you both for your resources. You have excellent people to call. If you have questions, you will have questions. And if you're a new secretary, don't feel overwhelmed. I would after going through this, but you have all the resources that you need. So start today working with your current secretary and with the treasurer and practicing on the DACdb website. With that, hey, we still have what, 4 minutes? 5 minutes? I could talk during that time, but I think probably it's time to wind it up. Are we sure?
Can we get a copy of the presentation?
Yes, it's been recorded. And as soon as it is uploaded to the district's YouTube page, I will send you that link.
Okay, so everybody on this call is going to get it automatically?
Yes, well, it won't be automatic because I have to go through and enter your email addresses, but you will get it.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
If you did not register for this, then I don't know, then I have your name, but I don't have your email address.
Marilyn,
Yeah,
you can get that link. We can actually send it to all the incoming secretaries, the centers that were not here today, and the ones that need to learn this. And hopefully they will view it.
you know, Richard, I love you. I'm sending you the link. You can send it to everybody. Yay.
So all current secretaries will get a copy of it as well?
We can make that happen,
That'd be great.
current and incoming.
Okay.
I told
And
you.
am I still on the,
Marilyn.
can you hear my voice?
Yes.
I just want to thank Marilyn. She has done a fantastic job helping all of us. And thank you for what you're doing for Rotary, Marilyn.
It's my pleasure, Carolyn. Appreciate the kudos. Amy, you had your hand up.
I do. Can we get a hard copy of or at least a emailed copy of the PowerPoint? I think it might be easier to go into DACdb where you've got the instructions in front of you.
That's a good point.
Can I send the PowerPoint to you, Richard?
Sure, that'll be fine. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, guys, I gotta go. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Have a good
Thank you.
Saturday.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your Saturday. Thank you so much for joining in this morning. Talk to you soon. Bye.